Hello, and it's good to have you join us again on Maritime Radar. Inland water transportation provides a cost-effective, logistically efficient, and environmentally friendly mode of transport. Developing this supplementary mode will enable diversification of traffic from the over-congested roads, railways, and contribute immensely to economic and social development. Marine transport, either by inland waterways or over a shorter maritime distance, has the potential to greatly improve continental integration in Africa and transform the economies of African countries, especially landlocked and island states. But it needs the adequate support and an enabling governance framework. Repositioning Nigeria's water transportation sector towards economic growth and sustainability are some of the issues that will be on the front burner on today's show. I'm Norma Obiaswalo. Inland waterways transportation has been described as the best mode of transport in the world, as it has long been in existence before other modes were used. River Niger and Benue have a very considerable influence on human activities as indicated by geographical and historical facts. Nigeria, which is well dredged by over 300 inland rivers and waterways, has been largely untapped. During the colonial era, precisely 1870s, commercial navigation and transportation into inland waters of Nigeria grew into the expansion of export trade, while passenger traffic in Low Niger and Benue rivers also grew with increased volume of trade. With the construction of roads in the 1920s, the extension of existing ones in the 1940s, the increased number of lorries on the roads for transport, water transportation came under serious competition with road transport. The poor government attention to the sector, poor infrastructure and operational facilities to motivate investors. Amidst these challenges, the Nigerian Regulatory Agency is yet to live up to expectation. Before we get further into today's lineup on the program, let's find out the latest in maritime news.
Nigeria's House of Representatives has urged the federal government to urgently enforce the Exports Prohibition Act 2004 as a strategy to address food insecurity in Nigeria and curb food smuggling. This resolution followed the adoption of a motion presented by Mukhtar Shagaya during plenary session. Presenting this motion, Shagaya cited Section 14 of the Constitution, which emphasizes that the security and welfare of the people are the primary responsibilities of government. He expressed concern over Nigeria's ongoing food crisis, highlighting high levels of food insecurity, rising food inflation and widespread shortages that have left millions of Nigerians struggling to access nutritious food. He pointed out that rampant food smuggling has exacerbated the crisis by undermining domestic agricultural output and threatened the livelihoods of local farmers. Shagaya added that the act was initially enacted to prevent the export of essential foodstuffs during a time when many Nigerians could not afford basic staples such as rice, corn, yam, garri, cassava and beans, as these items were being covertly transported to foreign markets. The lawmakers stressed the importance of addressing the current food crisis by enforcing this legislation, as it would help prevent food exports, enhance domestic food availability, and alleviate the cost of living for Nigerians. The House subsequently resolved to urge the federal government to immediately enforce the Exports Prohibition Act 2004 to curb food smuggling and enhance food security across Nigeria. A South African court has temporarily blocked a partnership between the state-owned logistics company Transnet SOC Limited and a firm owned by Filipino billionaire Enrique Razon to expand and operate sub-Saharan Africa's largest container port. The decision comes after AP Moller Maersk AS, the global shipping giant, contested the deal. Maersk's subsidiary APM Terminals was among the unsuccessful bidders in a tender process last year for the sale and management of nearly half of the main terminal in Durban for the next 25 years. According to court filings, the Copenhagen-based company argued that the selected bidder, International Container Terminal Services, did not meet a critical solvency requirement. The court's interim order will remain in place until a second hearing addresses the broader legal challenge from APM terminals. Maersk welcomed the ruling, describing it as a positive step, and stated it is preparing for the next phase of the legal process with confidence. Transnet, in a separate statement, affirmed its commitment to the judicial process and said it is currently reviewing its options. The UK government has introduced a draft employment rights bill aimed at bolstering protections for seafarers, a move welcomed by the maritime union Nautilus International. The bill seeks to reinforce wage protections and tighten laws regarding collective dismissals for seafarers working in UK waters. A key provision in the bill is the prohibition of fire and rehire practices, requiring employers to demonstrate that no reasonable financial alternative exists before proceeding with dismissals. Under the proposed law, companies planning to dismiss 20 or more employees on UK-operated vessels must notify the UK government in advance. This measure is intended to prevent incidents like the one in 2022 when P&O Ferries abruptly terminated 800 UK-based workers, replacing them with lower-cost foreign agency staff. Nautilus International said while it views these measures as a significant milestone, the union is advocating for further protections.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Maritime Radar. The challenge of safety on waterways has been on the front burner considering several boat mishaps seen across Nigeria. These mishaps are based on regulatory lapses, poor implementation of safety standards, as well as human errors such as overloading, non-use of life jackets or use of expired jackets, overspeeding, weak boats, night sailing, amongst others. In Lagos, Nigeria, which is our focus this week, water transportation is often a primary mode of commuting for many residents who want to avoid traffic. It's also a major source of transportation for those living in coastal communities, thus it is imperative to have safe, efficient, and modern boats. In this chat with Babatokwe Fajemi, National President of the Waterfront Boat Owners and Transporters Association of Nigeria, shares on the need to enforce safety on waterways. Stay with us. It's good to have you on the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
So let's start this conversation looking at Nigeria's waterways. We have about 10,000 kilometers. So share with us the potential of Nigeria's waterways, looking at these vast kilometers of waterways we have.
Okay, first and foremost, you see, there are a lot of potential in Nigerian waterways. I will give you just a simple and example of the potential in it. Look at it, like last 2 months, I traveled out to Kogi. Would you believe I was able to cross over from Kogi to Onitsha under 30 minutes on waterway? From Kogi water to Onitsha waterway.
30 minutes.
30 minutes. I was surprised to see all those things in Nigeria. Those are the potential in it. We want government to come out and utilize all this potential to the full extent. If you can travel from Kogi State to Onitsha in 30 minutes, what else do you want on water? If I can travel in Lagos from CMS to Port Novo under 2 hours, what things are we looking for in Nigerian waterways? We have a lot of potential. We want government to come out, grab it, and make it for public to use. There are a lot of potential in it. If you look at the fishermen, if you see, my association, we are doing something now. We are in collaboration with the fishermen. We are in collaboration with market women, you get me, so that we can make use of the waterway. If you look at Lagos, Lagos is surrounded by water. So already Lagos state government, they are making use of waterways. Let's say maybe by 60%, not up to 80%, but they are trying. So there are a lot of potential in it, a lot, which I want even people to come and see by themselves and tap in it.
Okay, aside from this potential that you have mentioned, you see across Nigeria cases of incessant boat mishaps. The latest is that happened last week in Niger State, and recently on Monday happened in Lagos State. So how do we start to stop or curb these accidents that are human, related?
Okay, thank you very much. If I want to give you the statistics of this boat mishap, in the last 5 years, it was like 20 boat mishap, 5 years. After 4 years, like 10, it has been reducing drastically because in our own association, we are doing training for our members and retraining every 3 months. We were doing it yearly before. We now discover you need to change their orientation, we need to change that. So you need to train and retrain them. You see, let me look at, we have two sectors in this format and informal. We have some people, they were born into the business. They didn't learn the business. They are just born with all this pattern. Now, with the new generation, a lot of things are changing. So we also try to change their mindset.
Okay.
Technology, you need to do this, you don't need to use hand again, you need to use machine. And this has been helping us to reduce both mishap. Let me talk about the Niger State. In Niger State, my association was there about 2 or 3 months ago before the accident, just to collaborate with the state government. When I got there, I discovered that the regulators there are not doing much. No standard jet, no standard boat. Why will you move 300 personnel in a wooden boat at night? You see? And let me be sincere with you. Some of these boat mistakes, they are all human error. They are all human error. And we are working on that. Like we wrote the Niger State Commissioner for Transportation. So we are going to have a meeting with him next week. We are going to talk more on this and give them some advice.
Okay, Nigerian Inland Waterways Authority is saddled with the responsibility of regulation and ensuring safety sensitization. Do you think that they are doing enough looking at this boat mishaps that, according to you, are human errors?
Yeah. See, to be honest, they are doing their best. I must be sincere with you. In the past, maybe the last 5-10 years, they are not doing well. But with the present government in town, they are doing very well.
So, but why do we still see this mishap happening from time to time? Because these are simple human errors. It's just like that. There's no regulation. There's no implementation of whatever safety rules and all that. So how can you to US stop? How can a wooden boat move 300 people from which jetty? Who is the operator? Who is, somebody must be held responsible. A lot of lives is being lost.
I agree with you. We will get there one day. We are just coming up. In Nigeria, we are just coming up by this water transportation. Not everybody knows how to go on water transportation. But with the way the government is taking it now, recently they just launched the, waterways code. Understand? And it's going around all the states. I think it's a matter of time. We'll get it. For Niwa, they are doing well.
But much is still left to be done.
Yes, a lot is still to be done.
Okay, even in Lagos, that we seem to have not seen a boat mishap in a while. Had another one on Monday, and there's been conflicting of reports concerning the missing persons. They said there's no record of how many people was on the boat and all that. So how can we still have that kind of a thing in this time? And
at the initial stage, everybody was just saying what in Nigeria we know how to say a lot of things. You understand? But at the end of the day, we found 2 people out. We lost 2 people on that boat. You understand? We lost only 2 on that boat. So they are trying. The one in Lagos, they are trying their best. They are trying their best. But when it comes to implementation, they are trying, but They are not there yet, but I'll give them kudos. They're trying.
So what more do you think, or do you want to see
Yeah. What I
that will
want to
curb this? Because I'm sure you are not happy with this this development. It's terrible. It's terrible. So what do you want to see
I'm not, because
as a stakeholder and as a operator?
It's affecting the business.
Okay.
It's affecting the business. I'm not. We need more, what do we call it, safety personnel to be on the jetty. Not just in the day alone, but day and night. Like, some people will close. In Nigeria, we know how to find our ways. Some of these boys, these boat drivers, they know how to find their ways. If you ask them not to operate at night, some will still find their way. So we need the personnel to still be on the jetty up to like 8 o'clock in the evening before they will close.
I'm aware that there's a ban on night travel.
Yeah.
So why do we still have that?
Those boys, they still find their way. They find their way. That's why we still need NIWA to extend their working hours till 8 p.m.
Okay.
To extend their working hours till 8 p.m. at night.
We are due for a break now, but when we return, we'll be looking at how NIWA has fared in the removal of wrecks and hyacinth on Nigeria's waterways. But that will be after this short break. Please stay with us.
Africa needs its own storytellers, people who understand the continent because they're from it. People who know that news is more than just a conversation starter, it's our stories. Because these stories run deeper than headlines and segments. It's about digging deeper to get the facts and telling the human side of every single story, not just the echoes from foreign headlines and perspectives. It's time to take back our narratives and share them in our voices. The birth of Africa's New Age reporting, and this is where it begins, right here at News Central TV, with stories that put Africa first.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Maritime Radio, and I still have with me Baba Tokpe Fajemiroko. He is the national president Waboton. Before we went on that break, I said we were looking at how NIWA has fared in terms of safety, in terms of implementation, in terms of regulatory and all that. So, but let's look at another issue, which is the removal of wrecks and hyacinth on the waterways. How do you think NIWA has fared in that?
Yeah. So let me start. I'm one of the NIWA ambassadors in Nigeria.
Okay.
Understand? And we've been working closely, especially in Lagos, with the area manager. And in terms of wreck, they've been doing well.
Okay.
In terms of water hyacinth, they've been doing well. Like, we had a meeting about 2 weeks ago. Water hyacinth, is a seasonal something, not every day. We are planning out by the end of this month, October, November, December, you will see a lot of water hyacinth. We are planning already on how to attack, we are preparing on how to remove it as soon as it comes out, because they are going somewhere now. By November, December, they will come out. They are planning. They are really planning on it. And government is doing well on that.
Oh, okay, we still see that the rains, normally it's May, June that we see rain, but the rain is also heavy even in October. Yeah. So how much preparedness do you think NIWA is in terms of this?
They are really prepared. They are really prepared. They are fully prepared. Let me say it that way, because we have a patrol boat now, one in Badagry, under my I'm one of, as I told you, one of the new ambassadors in Badagry, under my custody. We have one in Ikorodu. We have one at the Badore axis, waiting for all those things. And we have our water ambulance fully on ground at CMS in case of emergency. So we are fully prepared for any.
Okay, let's move to marine tourism. That is key to economic development. So what opportunities do you see looking at Nigeria's waterways in terms of marine tourism?
A lot of opportunities.
So why are we not tapping into it?
Man, it's because, you see, let me sincere with you. I don't like talking about government all the time. The
No,
private,
no, your private sector too.
yeah,
So it's
both the government and the private sector, we are not doing well. We are not looking at the money on it. We are not focusing on how to develop it. It's not only government, both parties, both private and government. We are only looking at how to make the money. We're not looking at how to
so are you
develop.
saying there's no money in tourism?
There's money there.
So why are we not
Some
looking
people,
at it?
some people just want to make quick money. They don't want to how to develop it. My sister, I was in Dubai about 6 months ago with my family. We traveled from Dubai to Doha by water. You know what happened? My son was telling me, Daddy, I don't want to go back to Nigeria. I said, why? He said, I want to stay in this country because of it. I want to be traveling on water. You understand? Government needs to do more. Private sector needs to do more.
So how do we now improve this? Because if we don't get our ass right, we can't even get investment. So how do we get to the point where we get sensitization? Because you mentioned that water is dirty. That's very correct. How do we go to these rural communities that living in water communities? How do we get them sensitized to ensure that we don't pollute our waterways? Even most times, even in Lagos, it might not even be those living by the coastal waters. Even from Third Mainland Bridge, where you throw away your bottle can of drink and all that, it all goes back to the water. So how much sensitization are we doing, aside from training that you mentioned? How much sensitization are we doing to ensure that our waters are cleaned up?
My association, we are planning something now, which we want to kick off next year. We want to bring, we call it Project Apapa. If you look at Apapa last 6-10 years, Apapa is on tourism #1. But now if you look at Apapa, nobody wants to go to Apapa. If you mention Apapa, I don't want to go there because of what? Because of traffic. But now if you look at it,
but that has gridlock has.
if you look at it, so what we are doing now, we're going to do Project Apapa, like what we did last month. We choose a day, one Thursday, to do cleanup in Apapa. We call it Project Apapa. Now we are doing the same thing on all the jetties. Clean up the jetties. Make a lot of noise. Invite a lot of people. Remove the dirty from the waters. So we are now in our own little way, we are trying our best to make sure that people understand why you should not pollute the water.
Okay, so let's look at the investment opportunities that you see on our waterways. Maybe that will help government to focus more. You already say you're an ambassador. So what investment opportunities do you see, or are you not talking to them about it?
Not talking to who?
To government, you say you're a new ambassador.
No.
So what investment opportunities do you see? Because I see huge opportunities.
We are talking to NIWA. You understand? We had a discussion. We normally have our, there's a meeting we normally have every two weeks. Marshal week. We normally do it. So we used to discuss a lot on how to get more jetties, how government should be fully involved in waterway, get more boats. I love my Nigerian people. They like government things. Oh, this boat is for government. It will be very cheap. You understand? So we ask them to invest in it, which they are planning to buy more boats for us to use. So we are discussing with them.
So you are getting more modern boats, because IMO is also talking about greener shipping, greener waterways. So how do we achieve this with these rickety boats that we have? It's good that you say NIWA is planning. So how soon are we getting this new boat that will replace these old boats that we have?
3 months ago, Lagos State government just launched Omnibus, which we are going they are going to give to the private sectors with the operators to operate on. I promise you, in the next 30 days, you will see them on our waterway. We have 15 on ground, which has been allocated.
Yes, I know we are expecting, I think, 10 more or so.
10 more before
the end of the year.
So Government, they are doing their best.
Okay, this omnibus, is it for LASWA or it's been given to private sectors too?
It's being given to private sector to operate. Yeah.
Okay, before I let you go, as a stakeholder, what is the way forward for Nigerian waterways to be able, looking at all that we have discussed so far, to be able to be on the path of development?
I think the way forward is government should allow people who knows about this thing to operate them. Like, sorry to say, we should have our member as one of the special advisors to the governor to advise governor on what to do. And in each state, like you cannot go.
You think they don't have that in LASWA?
I don't want to say they don't have it. We have it.
Okay.
Rest of the way we have it, but not the way we are expecting it to be. I will give kudos to GM of LASWA. He has really improved waterway transportation in Lagos State. So and then the government should allow us to participate more, to give us room to operate more. It should give us law that will look and that's one of the way forward. They should allow us to, and the government and the bank should come to arrest you, because if you are looking at how to operate waterways in Nigeria, you need a lot of money.
So is government not helping in terms of that?
No. They're not doing it.
Okay, it's been good talking to you. Thank you for your time and your thoughts.
And I want you to understand something. In Nigeria, we are coming up gradually. When I was young, they used to talk about water corporation. Where is water corporation today? They are nowhere to be found. Everybody has borehole, pumping machine in their house. Nobody is even talking about water corporation. So Nigeria is coming up gradually. It's a gradual process.
So it's been Papa Tokwe Fajemiroko. He's the National President, Waterfront Boat Owners and Transporters Association of Nigeria. Waboton, thank you for your time and your thoughts on the show, as I wish your association well, and I also look forward to not seeing any mishap very soon. Thank you very much again.
Thank you.
And that's our show this week. I hope this episode has been able to address the safety issues raised on Nigeria's waterways. Join us every week on Maritime Radar as we explore how Africa can unlock the latent potential of its maritime industry and its connected sectors. You can also expect the latest in global and local maritime news, plus industry insights right here. I'm Norma Obiaswalo. Many thanks for your time, and see you again next week.